What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Be Original Show, exclusively on WBDY. I'm your host, Kevin Oriel, aka DJ KO Yo. And today's featured trio combines indie rock, electronica, and dance pop with lyrics that convey authentic, personal feelings delivered with an unrelenting energy that makes them a band to watch as they gain more and more popularity throughout the area. They call their music diary pop. I call it pretty awesome. In the studio today, we have the band Kipani, and we will be hearing their story, talking about their music, and finding out the band's future plans. But first, let's listen to Better This Way right here on the Bundy Museum Community Radio Station, WBDY.
Listen close, you need to hear this. I'm not the same as I was.
That was Better This Way by Kipani. So, first of all, where did the name come from?
We actually get asked this quite a bit. So my mom lived in Hawaii for a number of years, and originally this started off as like a solo project. And when I was looking for an artist name, my mom was constantly sending me all these knickknacks from Hawaii, and a lot of them included my Hawaiian name, which is Kipani, and it translates to Tiffany. So really, we're Tiffany, but
But in Hawaiian.
yes, exactly.
So why don't you introduce yourselves and say what you do in the band for people who don't know you.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name's Sean. I play bass in Kipani. I also do a lot of the producing for our recordings.
And I am Tiffany, and I do vocals. Sometimes I play keys. I do play a little bit, and do a lot of writing and I guess a lot of managerial things in the band as well.
She's the boss. And then there's me. I'm Mike, and I play the drums.
So how did the band first come together?
Well, it did start off as kind of recording a few solo things, and then got introduced to Mike, and we started like creating this sound, and Mike has been playing music with Sean for how many?
20 plus years.
20 plus years.
Since high school.
Sean showed up to a music video shoot.
And
And
I worked
then,
my way in there.
Yeah, he did. He knew what he was doing, and then the rest is history.
So talk about was your Lotus the first record that you put out?
It was the first EP as a group.
Yep.
Tiffany had released a bunch of singles and another EP before we had joined. And her first music video, which was Enlighten Me, which is a song we still play live.
Yeah, we do.
So Lotus was the first project that we all did together. We recorded drums in my basement and did it all there. And then we did a full album and now some singles.
Yeah. And now we're in the midst of releasing our next EP.
That's exciting.
Yes.
So when you put together Lotus, was it a collection of songs that you had written, Tiffany, and then everyone came in, or was it a group effort? And what was the Lotus concept?
Yeah, I would say that we had been through, it was actually kind of a tough time that we were kind of like coming out of at that point. And the meaning behind Lotus was really symbolic of not just like the lotus flower has been a symbol for us for a long time. It really means like something coming out from the mud and blooming into something like really beautiful. So it was kind of like a rebirth, a growth, if you will, for our band. And these were songs that me and Mike had played for a number of years, songs that I had written. And then it was a full-on collaboration in the production of this. And when we finally brought these songs to the studio, they just evolved and changed into something really spectacular, and we're super proud of it.
So you said you recorded it in your basement at home?
Yeah, you have a small home studio that we recorded in. And we did it probably in, 3 or 4 months, the whole record, and then sent it off to get mixed and mastered by one Matt Evers from Tom Jolu, among other projects he's in. He did that for us.
I'm really kind of bummed out that we don't have End of the Line to play. Hopefully you can send that to us so that we can have it in our library.
Yes.
It's a great tune to start off with because End of the Line, it feels like the title is ending, but actually it's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It's a metaphor, right?
It is. It
That's
is.
deep.
The whole thing is a metaphor. Yeah, that was. I'm gonna steal that from you if you don't mind. If people ask what this song is about. Yeah,
We're getting
and
deep.
it was a really fun music video too, if you've ever seen it. And Mike had just gotten his new truck, and he was like, "Let's drive my truck around," and just like.
No, it was you. We're gonna drive your truck around.
Well, yeah,
and
because
me
it was
letting
your new truck. I wanted to drive it.
Yeah.
So.
So is this where you're in and you're switching
Yes.
switching
Yes.
places?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
It was total DIY.
Yeah.
Fun little fact too is that my sister was at the shoot that day because we did 2 music videos in the same day.
Yep.
One for Freaking Out, which she was featured in. The only time she was ever featured in a video, and we put her in a full black morph suit, so she was unrecognizable. But in End of the Line, she was actually in the back seat, tucked way down. It was really funny. Yeah.
Guest cameo. Something about Freaking Out I was going to mention is that was a song that was added to the record that I don't think you guys had actually played out at all beforehand. It was a demo that Tiffany had shared, and we sort of all listened to it. And well, let me go back. Tiffany has like 800 songs that she's written and played live, and Mike had to learn before I came in. And so when we were like, hey, let's put together an EP, we started talking about, okay, what are the 6 songs that we think would be the best that would work together?
Yeah.
And I think we had maybe picked a different song, but then you had shared the demo to Freaking Out, and it was like, oh boy, this one hits different.
And what's crazy about it too is that this song has now been an anchor in our live tour sets since. So I don't know if I see it being transitioned out anytime soon either.
There's that one and the line that are just constant.
Yeah, those are the 2 staples for sure.
Let's play a song, and when we come back, let's talk about the song process and how that goes for you as a group. Why don't we play "Messy Room"? Talk about that's a pretty heavy track, isn't it?
It is. So, excuse me. This actually, it really is a tough one to initially perform and record, and it's one of those songs that I don't even, as weird as I don't even remember writing it. It just all came out because it was during a very traumatic loss of a friend, and it was very sudden and heartbreaking, and it just was something that it was like a release for me to get this out, and it's a tribute to her because in this song we were actually able to use some audio recordings of her, and the song was called Messy Room, and it was about everything in the song is true, and very remarkably, we found a recording of her talking about her messy room, and you can hear that in the beginning of this song.
Wow, that's wonderful. Let's check out "Messy Room" right here on the Be Original Show, WBDY 99.5 FM.
I will blame me.
That was "Messy Room" by Kipani. During the break, we were talking about how you have thousands of songs.
Did we say thousands?
I think so. And you know, when I'm preparing to interview a band, I spend a few days listening to the music, and I was listening to all of it, and it's just all so different. It's all wonderful, and just so much creativity there. Talk about your process and the thousands of songs you have.
Talk about my thousands of songs. Okay, here we go. No. So, I mean, it is, we do call our sound diary pop, and it is because it actually comes out of, for lack of a better term, a diary that I have, and it's just very cathartic to write. And it was something I've always written songs for as long as I can remember, but just I'm somebody who really struggles with some mental health problems, anxiety, and there's different things work for different peoples, and songwriting is my thing. It's a way for me to get out these feelings that I have and really talk about these problems. And I feel like that's where a lot of our fan base and success comes from, is that people really relate to this. And they're like, I've been through that situation, but you've explained it in a different way to me. So that's kind of where it comes from.
So you have all this great lyrical content, but then how does that translate into these songs with all the harmonies and backups and keyboards and bass and guitar and everything?
Yeah.
So what happens is Tiffany will make a rough demo at home with piano. Now that I let her borrow a laptop that I have, so she has GarageBand, so now she'll add like some harmonies or some like programmed drums just to get like a groove behind it. And then me and Sean listen to it, and then Sean usually gets a lot more ideas, and then we tweak it, and then I listen to it, and I change the drums or go off of what she has, and it kind of just evolves into what you hear.
Yeah, there are some songs that I originally wrote as like ballads through the idea to the group, and then they became like big upbeat pop dance anthems.
Yeah,
so
Just Run.
Just Run was one of them. Yes.
which we'll get to in a sec. So you put out Lotus, and then the second record was Spoiled Ingrates. That was like an explosion. That's 14 tracks. that
Oh
you
boy,
put out.
that was an undertaking.
Wow. So it sounded as if the Lotus record was a little bit more electronic kind of based. And then when you moved over to the second record, it sounded a little bit more indie rock. Talk about that. Was that intentional, or did it just happen? Like,
Yeah. So coming out of Lotus, we had gotten some interest from a record company who wanted to work with us, and they encouraged us to do a full record. And so that's sort of where the 14 songs came from. And so I think, again, we sort of just went to the bank of all the songs, because all these songs had existed for probably a
Years,
year or,
yeah.
or longer. And so we sort of went to the vault and said, which ones do we want to pull out and really develop a little bit more? And sort of as Mike said, it's the same thing. We got those demos. We started playing with it. We started playing together. I would be home tinkering with little things and send it to the group and say, how does this sound? The next song, Just Run, you'll hear those like Indian drums in the beginning. That was like a total... I was just messing around, and we just like figured that out and sent it to Mike and Tiffany, and they were like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And so, so 14 songs, it was a lot. It took probably a better part of a year to finish.
We had like a huge whiteboard with everything. We tried to stay really organized. It was like, all right, this is what needs to get done here.
Yeah.
We broke it up into sections: drums, bass, synth, guitar, vocals, all that stuff. So it was, it's quite a feat. But I mean, it was pretty cool because that album did chart on iTunes, and that was really a neat success that we had.
It legitimately premiered at number 69 on iTunes.
Yes, it did.
It did.
that's pretty cool. And it really runs the gamut. Like, you have like the softer Pity Party and Ghost Town, and then on the opposite end of that is Messy Room and Dish It Out. Like, there was a real width and width, breadth.
Yeah, our whole like
music.
intention. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
like
go for it.
it kind of goes along with what you're saying. We kind of wanted to create not just an album, but like a whole art piece and experience. And if you listen to it and you hear these interludes, it kind of takes you on a whole journey. And we actually listed these songs. The order of them is very intentional as well, because it takes you on the kind of like our journey, really, of this band.
Start off with explaining Expose.
So it's kind of like, we come here, it was like, okay, yeah, we got this. But then you hear all of these inner demons telling you, like, no, like, you're not good enough. This is not going to happen for you, and it's just kind of overtakes you. And then you get hit with that really soft, like, it kind of starts off really vulnerable. But then by the end, it's just like a powerhouse. And you tell those voices to just shut up. Like, we literally scream that in the album, just shut up.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful progression. It starts off so vulnerable in that beginning song, which I think takes a lot of maturity, kind of like to kind of put that all together in that way.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Just Run.
Yeah, this song, as was mentioned, kind of started off as a softer ballad, and we decided to take some distorted guitars to it, and then the cool thing about this song is those Indian drums that occur, as well as there's a little synth thing that happens that was a little bit new and different, and sort of made the song a little more exciting, and we're really proud of it. And again, this is part of our live show constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, something to think about with the whole Spoiled Ingrates album too is we all come from musical theater backgrounds, so we wanted to kind of make it more like a theater, like a theatrical experience and stuff.
The whole stylized. We think a lot about the overall branding for things and the whole theme behind this album. We did the shoot in a theater. We were in the old Goodwill Theater, which is really decrepit and it's very much like in decay, but we went in like full ball gowns and different things, so it was really a juxtaposition and kind of spoke to what we were trying to sell with this album.
We're going to talk about branding in just a second, but let's check out Just Run right here on the Be Original Show, WBDY 99.5 FM. All right, that was Just Run by Kipani. On the break, we were talking about the live shows and how you're running those drums, stereo. Talk a little bit about when you have the full-on live show and you're touring.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're touring, obviously it's a drums, bass, and a singer. So we do really incorporate backing tracks in our live show. We started that a couple years ago, right after Lotus came out, I think, and really just to fill in the sound because really we wanted Tiffany to not be held by a piano the whole time because she's such a great front person. We wanted her to interact with the crowd, and then Mike and I again have been playing together forever, and we're used to like playing with a click and all that stuff. So backing tracks was a really great way for us to do that, which we know is a little controversial sometimes for some people, but also something that not a lot of bands around here do and use. So we really tried to make ourselves unique in that area. Our show for this year, the 2024 tour season, we have a brand new show with brand new choreography, a new set list,
Theme, everything. Yeah.
And so, if anyone can come and see us in 2024, now's the time.
And oh no, go ahead.
Are you putting this on like you're playing here at the Annex Theater, correct? In May?
May 30th.
And May 30th, and we will be premiering our tour set here.
All right.
And expect nothing. We do very theatrical things, and we try to kind of push people's limits beyond just seeing a live band. We want our audience to like leave with something and really think. You know, we want to leave them with like even if they're like, what the heck was that? At least it's like playing with their brains a little bit. You know.
Sort of our mentality is if you are watching a band, you have their attention and you have this opportunity to send them with, it's like seeing a beautiful painting, you want to leave that impression on the viewer. And so that's sort of what our mentality is with creating these shows.
Yeah, because
we
we're like
entertained too.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like entertaining, but we're like, I also think of it, we're very lucky to even have this small platform. So why not use this platform to really speak to an audience on a message that we feel really strongly about.
So we were talking about branding. The band is so great on Instagram, all of the different things that you're doing. Talk about the idea behind it and how much work it probably takes to keep it going.
It's crazy.
So basically what they do is they just follow me around with a camera.
Yeah.
And that's just 100% me. So.
And thousands of views.
Yeah. It's wild though, because it's not just, we have been experimenting back and forth with all, like, social media is such, it really is kind of a science, but there's no like real rhyme or reason behind it. So it's really throwing things at the wall, but seeing what sticks. But we have a very organized, like our Google Drive probably has like insane amount of like calendars and documents. But one thing we always frequent is the weekly content calendar. And we're scheduled out for like a month ahead of like where we're going to put things and what we need to film. And especially with like release campaigns coming up. But it is just, it's really like we haven't mastered it yet, but we try. But it's just trying different things, trying to create a brand that's really important and seeing what works and what's like resonating with people.
Yeah, one thing that we've been very lucky is we've had a lot of great opportunities to consult with folks who kind of know this business in terms of the social media piece and like how bands can sort of promote themselves. And we do a lot of research in terms of that. And unfortunately, it's not just about making music anymore.
No.
You do have to have that approach, that sort of social media presence. And So it is a big part of what we do, is creating content. And, we do try and, when we have a release, we try and create like a 5-week release schedule just to promote that release for these singles that we'll be hearing soon. We did those. And we try and create like what is the theme of this? What is the message we want to convey? So there's a lot of moving parts.
There is. They're planned like months ahead. Like we just did a shoot for we have a single coming out soon. So that we're already in the release campaign, editing for that and different things. So it's not just sitting back and be like, oh, I'm going to post today. This is all scheduled way in advance.
Well, it seems as if you have on one side you have like your performance videos or the showpiece, and then also on the back end you have like these like real stories that you've experienced like while on tour. So it's kind of really interesting that you have both sides.
This is definitely something we've been trying, and we've been seeing a little bit more success because it is hard to like capture an audience, but what we're finding is really people don't want to see you promoting your music. It's so hard. The industry is just inundated with people doing this. So it's how do you make yourself unique in a way that you can be heard through all of the, I want to call it noise, but it is. How do you break out of that a little bit? And we find like these are real stories that are coming from us, and it's just very, they all are. And we have a lot of stories, and we're finding that people are relating to it. So it's been fun to do those.
They're all true.
Yeah, they're all true. Yes.
How is it related to people coming down to the shows? Do they talk to you about it?
I'd say the majority of feedback we get is just folks who kind of relate to the lyrics, and they'll come up to Tiffany and say, that this was something that had happened to them or that they experienced or related to. And so, obviously online content is online content. They see it for a second and they leave.
Yeah.
It's easily forgettable type of stuff.
We've had some people like the funny stuff, but a lot of things people comment on are our fits because we have some style. I will say it, but we
definitely do. You definitely are styling for sure. I love the outfits. I love the photos. It's super cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we also put a lot of thought into that as well. Like we have a whole wardrobe for this coming tour. Last year, I think we bought our wardrobe like way in advance, and we knew exactly what we were wearing. So it's a whole thing. Yeah.
That's awesome. And who chooses what?
Tiffany chooses. Well, here's what happens. Tiffany finds something that she really wants to wear, and then she's like, "I'm gonna wear this," and now I'm gonna find something that matches for you guys.
Yeah,
so no matter what material it's made out of or how tight it is.
The worst material.
So you guys didn't choose like the 80s big splashes of color jackets?
We
that
did.
Wasn't you?
Oh, that one.
We did kind of collaborate on. Actually, I think Mike found those, and then I was like, "Those are killer." So, and then I was like, "I can find a blazer to match." And then, it was like, "Oh, that one was a collab." So I'll give you that one, Mike. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about "Do We Have to Go."
Yeah.
What's the song about, and what's interesting about it?
Oh, that's about definitely being an introvert and the feeling of having these obligations to go out and be social, but really just like wanting to be in your box. Like when you really just don't feel like being socializing and you're in like a certain headspace and you're not comfortable with it. It's like, do we really have to go,
All right, let's check it out right here on the Be Original Show.
I just wanna kick it at home here with you. I don't wanna go out with you.
So this year you've put out 2 singles. The first being All My Friends, and then the second being 17. Is that right?
Yep.
So what was the idea about putting out the singles? Are they leading to a full release, or are you going to do one by one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is called a waterfall strategy.
Yes, it is. There is a name for it.
There's a name for it. So actually, Do We Have to Go was the first one, even though we released it in 2023. It was like in October.
Yeah.
Then All My Friends in 17, and then we have 3 more coming out by August, and that will culminate in an EP, a 6-song EP, with those songs on it. Sort of the idea is really to give the songs the time that they deserve, as a up and coming band, or certainly not upper echelon. We don't want our songs to come out all at once and then not give them the respect that they deserve. So this gives each of those tunes time for people to hear them, for us to be able to promote them, and really get the earworms in people's ears.
It also helps build our socials, I think, as well, because every song we do a very strategic release campaign. Like we were telling you, we film all of these videos for them, and we just kind of like pump the hook, and so it helps like gain traction towards this bigger project that comes out in the summertime. And it's so the waterfall campaign for sure. And all the cover art for it we filmed back in but it all, if you look at it, it's all very similar, and if you look very closely you can see the driving theme that will be behind everything as well.
Who do you work with filming videos?
Well, a lot of it's DIY, but we have had the opportunity to work with some really great videographers as well.
Zach Myers,
Casey Staff has helped us with some
Matt
videos.
Evers has done some videos. So we have a good network of friends.
My friend Stephanie did the pictures.
Yes, she did.
Beyond the stage photography.
Yep.
And the recording, is it still done at home, or are you going to a studio?
Yeah, so for these 6 songs, we recorded them ourselves. Mike went to a nicer drum studio to do the drums.
My friend has a studio, and we did the drums there.
Shout out to your friend.
Justin Goosley,
Yeah.
All right. Shout out, Justin.
Shout
Thank
out,
you.
Justin.
And then similarly, the rest of the stuff, guitars, bass, vocals, were all done in my studio. But we did send them out to mix and mastering by a guy named Diet Lemon. He plays with Mega Mango, who are out of Philadelphia. They're definitely up and coming band.
Yeah, big time.
And we got hooked up with him. He's been awesome with us so far, and he does like mixing and mastering. So it's been a lot of fun.
It's a huge sound. Like the record, it's unbelievable. It's almost as if I would love to see at some point Kipani have like full instrumentation with like keyboardists, with extra guitar players, with backup singers, and like do this amazing. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a huge.
dream, right?
It's a huge sound.
We did that for our Spilling Greats
Album
album
show.
release show.
Yeah, we did have a guitar player, a piano player come in and play with us for that, because we did the whole record. I mean, totally. And I think that's sort of what we sort of like look at ourselves, and that's kind of why we use backing tracks, because we don't want the sound of the song to be deteriorated by the fact there's only 3 of us. And so because bring extra people on the road or whatever is sometimes not as hard.
Expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Timelines, people's schedules, and so being able to do that and still maintain that same quality is something that's important to us.
Yeah.
What shows are you looking forward to, or venues you're looking forward to playing this year?
Well, obviously the Bundy. We're definitely looking forward to that. But we are playing some new cities that we haven't been to before, so we are super psyched about that. Last year we were able to hit a lot of great cities. So we've done a lot of the East Coast. We love always going back to New York City. That's one of our favorites. Some of the other
pizza, man.
Oh my goodness, this bodega pizza. Oh my
Best
gosh.
pizza.
Let's see. This year we're excited to head out to. We're going to be in Vermont. We're going to be in Virginia. We're going to be in. We were in Nashville a little bit last year, but we're going back to Nashville. But it's really cool because we're getting some of the southern. We're doing Atlanta, North Carolina. So we're kind of making like a big loop, and we're very excited about that.
That's wonderful. And have you done that loop before?
We have done weekenders, is what we've mostly done. And we've gotten to hit quite a few cities that way. We had quite a significant tour last year by doing weekenders. It was broken up. But this year we're trying something a little different where we do 2 longer runs, like 2 weeks basically. So we'll just kind of see how that plays out, being on the road for that time and playing shows with these bands. So
Are you going out alone or in support, or other band is supporting you?
Yep. So we usually curate we reach out to venues and then we curate like a show, and it's really great actually to play with all of these local bands. So we'll all be on a bill together, and it's opened up a lot of doors for us, communication with other bands, and listening to all this great music that's all over the country is amazing. And also getting support from those bands as well. We've made a lot of friends that we've kept and still talk to on socials, and we all are this cool little community that support each other.
That is really awesome. Tell us a little bit about, speaking about the community, tell us about All My Friends.
Okay, me again. Well, all my friends. You can talk. Go ahead. Sing the lyrics. What are they?
Ooh, on national radio.
All my friends are gone.
Good enough.
Yay! I did it. Awesome.
I did it correctly. Yay, me.
Yeah, so this one was really a song, again, diary pop. I was feeling a certain way. And just, as you get older and you see all of your friends kind of establish their lives, and maybe if you're not at that same level with them, you feel a little bit left behind. So, and you, it's like I'm still doing this music thing, and these, all my friends are off, like they got houses and marriages and children, and it was like a little overwhelming for me at the time. And it literally like all my friends are gone, like I will choke on the dust and watch as they move along, so like while I take one step back. So it's battling that feeling of not being in the same place as people who you used to be very close with, and kind of losing those relationships. Mm-hmm.
You gotta be yourself, and everyone else is taken, right? That saying. Anyway, let's listen to "All My Friends" by Kipani right here on the Be Original Show.
We'll never leave you. We'll never leave you.
I love that sample at the end. That's great. I was listening to it in my truck, and I was like, wait a minute, is that the song, or is like, something weird happening?
Always something weird.
Yeah.
So your latest release, 17, how's that? That's an awesome song on so many levels. It kind of sounded like you went back to like the electronica kind of sound. Mm-hmm. How's that song doing? It's so awesome, both lyrically, melodically. I mean, the beat, it's just a great song.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Aw. I mean, I think it's doing really well. We've had a lot of great feedback about it. This song was one we were like super excited to release. Just the content of what's the meaning of it is, I think is really
So
cool.
talk about that a little bit. The lyrics are, well, you explain it.
It's just the feeling about, I think we've all felt it before. Like, if you could have a time machine and go back, like, would you? Yeah, you would. Because, like, you just think about, like, what you could have done more. What could you have done to change where you are today? Or, like, if you had done things differently, where would you be today? I think I know myself as a teenager, I was pretty terrible and pretty rotten. If I didn't spend so much time on these things that I talk about in this song, like
Fighting with your dad.
fighting with my dad, getting drunk with friends, would my life be different? It's kind of a song about regret, but also an anthem about not regretting things in the same sense.
Taking advantage of the time that you have and
Yeah.
being in the moment.
I was a perfect angel at 17.
I'm sure you were.
Well, and this song was a little bit different than some of the older ones, or the other ones, because Tiffany had basically wrote this song maybe 2 weeks before we were like, this has to go on. Like, we actually replaced a song that was going to be in the EP for this one, because we were like, this one hits a little bit different. And so we sort of all felt that way and went into it full force, and basically like reverted our plans to make sure that this one was
and this one just like came together so quickly too. It was almost like it was meant to be. Like it all fell into place.
It's one of those songs that is like an anthem, and you totally can remember it and sing along with it. And it's doing well on like the music platforms.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's hard. Like, we keep track of so many numbers and stuff. A lot of times I tell the guys too, like, I don't really like to like focus on that and look at it, because it's really discouraging sometimes, because your numbers fluctuate so much. Like, depending on where your playlisting is, on like especially Spotify, you could be up, like way up one day, and then it gets taken off a playlist and shuffled out, and then you're down again. So it's a constant ebb and flow, so
A roller coaster ride.
That's right.
So I have here that you are playing May 30th at the Annex, June 9th at Heaven Can Wait in NYC.
They put that out already. Yes.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that in the city?
Yeah, so it's right on in Alphabet City, like on Avenue A, I believe. So it's
Cool.
right. Yeah, it's right on that side of town. We played there last year, and it was such a cool space that we're like, oh, we'd love to play there again. So we actually have quite a few. Our tour starts on June 8th, so there's quite a few announcements, and we are actually, if this airs May 1st, we're actually announcing it May 1st. So
May 1st, okay. Awesome. That's great. North Brewery, Lost Dog. So you got a couple of local shows, and then you're out and about.
Yep.
That is great.
Yep. We're on the road June 8th to June 11th. 12th. And then we are back out on the road again July 20th through the 26th. Yep.
That is awesome. Well, tell the good people that are listening where they can find your music. What are your socials and all that good stuff?
Yeah, all our socials, Facebook, Instagram is our tag is at Kipani Music. Spotify, Kipani, we're on all the major streaming platforms. Did I miss anything? Is Threads still a thing? Is X still a thing? I don't know.
We're on MySpace.
Friendster.
LinkedIn.
You can get us on LimeWire.
You got to do them all.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming down and spending some time with
Thanks
me.
for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Definitely, after you finish your tour, when you drop another record, definitely come back and check us out.
We absolutely will.
Yeah, totally.
Yep, check our socials. Our tour dates are going to be posted soon. So if you're in the city, we'd love to see you.
Awesome. Let's roll out the show with the single 17 right here on the Beat Original Show.
Do these fickle words become you? Scrolling on my phone until 2 a.m. Autopilot.